In my opinion, the most important launch that came out from Apple earlier this month was the iPad mini 6th edition or 6th generation. I do have the iPad mini 5th generation. I literally just find that the newer model has a lot more things to offer. Firstly, I want to talk about the physical aspect of this. It is a total design change. It is an all-screen design with looks similarly to what the iPhone 12 series had started off. So the iPad Pros are all of the same design, which you can see here. I try to get it. Okay, you can see that it's a single slit design. And this design is definitely more modern than what we have previously, as in here, the iPad mini, the 5th generation, where you still have the home button, or the Touch ID, and the home button still on the main screen. I must say this has been the device that I was waiting for, but I couldn't wait and I decided to get the iPad mini 5 just to tide through. I had the iPad mini 2, but that was way too slow. So going to the iPad mini 5 was already a great jump for me. But going to the iPad mini 6, I absolutely have no regrets, simply because it has a lot of new features and it's very comparable to the iPad Air, just for its size. So first off, the old iPad mini 5 only had a 7.9-inch screen. The new iPad mini comes in at 8.3 inch. So it gives you a lot of real estate, and the fact of the matter is that it is also still smaller than the iPad mini 5 in physical dimensions. As you can see here, still a little bit taller for the iPad mini 5. So with the smaller physical design, it still provides a larger screen, so definitely way better. Yes, there's still a bit of bezel on the sides, you still can see the sides, but I think these bezels are important so that you still are able to place your hand while you're reading without actually touching any of the or accidentally swiping the screen. So I think that is why the bezels still remain on the iPad mini 6th generation. Then we have, of course, the Touch ID that has been shifted to be like the iPad Air and is now right on top. So again, this is very useful. All along, devices like that should have their Touch ID physical rather than the Face ID approach, which sometimes if you're using outside with the Face ID and if you're wearing a mask, you probably need to have an Apple Watch, then you can unlock it. But in this case, you can simply do it by just placing your fingers, and it allows you to put up to 2 fingers or maybe more on the Touch ID, either on the on the iPad mini 5, you can put it on the Touch ID, which is in the bottom part here. But for the iPad mini 6 is now relocated to the top, just like the iPad Air. Then of course we have speakers, which are now stereo. You have both sides, speakers on both sides of the iPad, rather than only on one side on the iPad mini 5. So you definitely get great sounding audio while you're watching movies. Next up, we have the USB-C, which now allows you to charge it much faster and allows you to connect more devices which are using USB-C. One interesting aspect is that the volume button now has been relocated to the top left. So the Touch ID is on the top right and the volume buttons are actually now on the top left portion. Wait, let me see. Okay, on the top left portion. And very interesting, it is self-orientating, means that if you are in particular mode, it will always be intuitive to know that the volume is up in that direction. So it's not a fix like a volume up direction. Let's say, for example, if we are using it in the portrait mode, the increase in volume will be on the right side, right? But if let's say we were to tweak it to this side in portrait mode, then the volume button, if you were to press down, it will actually lower the volume. So it self-orientates now. If you want to increase the volume, you just press normal, just press upwards and you increase the volume. So it's self-orientating. Whether or not it's a beneficial feature, but I can say that definitely this is something that will probably allow us to use this more intuitively. So that is the new change in the volume location. Now let's talk about the cameras. The front camera has been upgraded to the ultra wide, which also allows you to do center stage, which if you have seen enough of the keynote or some other videos that is promoting this center stage, basically it's an ultra wide camera that allows you to have zoom calls that will always be centered upon the person in view. So for example, the iPad mini, although in its fixed position, still allows and seems to create that panning effect. And if you have somebody coming into the field of view of the camera, then it will zoom out to capture the person into frame. So that is something that is very useful if you are in Zoom calls or FaceTime and you want something to be a bit more interactive rather than just a fixed screen. So the camera has definitely gotten an upgrade. And as for the back camera, it has received an upgrade too, and now it performs better in low light. It's still a single camera, but it now is at aperture of f1.8, which means shooting in low light will be much better. And it allows you to shoot 4K as well. You used to be able to shoot up to 1080p only. So with this upgrade, definitely the camera system on this iPad mini is much more functional. Okay, talking about the internals now. This guy has been upgraded a lot. In fact, 3 generations. The iPad mini 5 was on the A12 chip, and now the iPad mini 6 is on the A15 chip, which is the same as what the iPhone 13, iPhone 13 Pros are using. Maybe a little bit down throttle. So I think based on some Geekbench benchmarks, it seems like this guy is not performing fully to its potential, but it's still a very fast chip already coming from A12. It's got 5G inside rather than 4G on the iPad mini 5. So for those who want fast connectivity on the road, definitely the iPad mini 6 is the one to go for. Then, okay, the pencil. Now you can use the 2nd generation Apple Pencil. So you can use that single pencil, you can use it on your iPad Air, on the iPad mini 6, on your iPad Pros. Previously, you have to use the 1st generation Apple Pencil to be able to use on the iPad mini 5, and you had nowhere to place the pencil, so you had to kind of like put it in a holder or something. But now the Apple Pencil can actually place onto the side here and click on magnetically like all the iPad Pros and even the iPad Air. So that's something that if you already have an iPad Air or iPad Pro and you just want to use one pencil, and this is the guy to do it. And of course, with smaller physical size, it's now also lighter at 293 grams compared to 300 grams on the iPad mini 5 Wi-Fi only models. So definitely lighter across the board. Okay, so would I continue using this? Definitely. This is something that I really like, and it is something that I always wanted. So it's a very specific use for this iPad mini. Some people may prefer a larger Pro Max phone which can bridge the gap between that and maybe an iPad Air, but I always find that this iPad mini is very pocketable. Some people can't put in the pocket, but I can place it in my back pocket. So it's very handy for me when I bring it out. I don't want to whip out my phone. I'm not using a Max model. So using an iPad mini helped me to complement my phone usage. And I can bring this out to read my books or do many other things on it. Simple sketches, you know, primarily I use it for watching YouTubes or videos or Netflix. So it's a very entertainment or like a book-eccentric view kind of a device for me. So definitely it's something that I will keep, and I really would continue using this for a long time. But the only difference is I may go for a cellular model when the time comes in future. But at this moment, I think Wi-Fi is sufficient for me. So definitely something that you should try out and see if you like the iPad mini for yourself. But most of the time when somebody wants an iPad mini, they only know or have specific users for it. So like me, you probably already have a specific use for it, and definitely this is the iPad mini that we have all been waiting for. Alright, so thank you for watching my video. I hope you continue to like, subscribe and hit that notification button, and I'll be coming up with a little bit more videos probably on the iPhone 13, whether you should upgrade from that, or even maybe doing a video on the iPad 9th generation. So stay tuned and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.